Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey Skatedown. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. So we heard some very interesting news yesterday as the Devils released news that they were relieving Alain Nassredine and Mark Recchi of their services, and they will be reevaluating all coaching staff and players. So this is very interesting. The Devils fans were waiting for some sort of hammer to fall on some changes that are going to happen, and two important ones happened yesterday, so I want to talk about that in this video. I also want to talk about Lindy Ruff's, how Lindy Ruff's impacted certain Devils, and, apparently he's going to be our head coach for this upcoming season as of now, so I'll talk about that in this video, so please stay with me throughout. And the Devils tweeted out, we have mutually agreed to part ways with assistant coach Alain Nassredine, as his contract will not be renewed. Additionally, assistant coach Mark Recchi has also been relieved of his duties. They asked Lindy Ruff on his future, and he talked and he said that right now everyone is under evaluation. The players, the coaches, and this comes on the wings of what was said earlier in the week. Elliotte Friedman on the TJMS show says he's heard mixed things on the New Jersey Devils when it comes to a coaching change. Greg Wyshynski tweeted out, as I reported on The Point, I'd put it at a 50-50 that Ruff returns as New Jersey Devils head coach. Staff will be reevaluated. I've had NHL sources tell me that they think he's cooked, but there are two reasons he could return. One, developing young players. He lists Bratt and Hughes, but he's talking about all the young players on the team as well. And number two, coaches as good as goaltending. New Jersey has been in save percentage basement for the last 2 years. And that's true. Looking at how the year went, a lot of good young prospects have played really well with Lindy Ruff in his system. And the goaltending has been horrible. We've been through our goaltender carousel after Blackwood and Bernier went down, and none of them worked. But Nico Dawes and Schmid showed a bit of promise. So, it's something that has to be addressed in this offseason. The Devils have to reevaluate the coaching staff. They have to reevaluate the roster as well. They need certain type of elements, and the first thing they really need to is to address the goaltending, because they have to get that better. A couple of points that we could have won games as far as goaltending. We could have, been closer to a playoff position, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the offseason, as even Tom Fitzgerald talked about that in his interview today. He said that he's stressing goaltending has to be addressed. Talked about Lindy Ruff and the coaching staff's impact on the team, and all of this has to be under evaluation, and he himself said he's under evaluation as well. And then looking at the young players, namely Bratt, Hughes, and Hischier, they all spoke highly of Lindy Ruff. They said that he was very influential for their growth. Jack Hughes said that I really like Lindy and I want him to be around next year, but we'll see what happens. But I really appreciate what Lindy has done for me the last 2 years. So, looking at the impact he's had on the young players that the Devils, that all the young players that did well this year, Hughes was front and foremost. Hughes, Bratt, everybody played well. All your young core of players going forward had a really good year and improved upon either the previous year or past years in their career. So, that's definitely something that a lot of Devils fans were thinking about. I know a lot didn't want Lindy Ruff to come back because, they just saw the past 2 years and they saw the way the Devils fell in the standings. But a lot of Devils fans saw promise. And when you see promise with a lot of your young players, you want to keep that. You want to have a good coach. You want to have a good coach around that the players will play for, they respect. They like, a lot of them talked about how they like Lindy Ruff, and, you want to have a coach that's there and does well with your young core moving forward. So it's hard to find coaches that mesh well with a lot of players, and the Devils are in a good position right now. Maybe surround Lindy Ruff with better coaching staff and better players. You may see something better in the 1 year he has left on his contract. So, but I do understand the flip side of it. There's a lot of good name coaches out there in Paul Maurice, in Joe Quenneville, and Bruce Boudreau now. We've come to hear that, the Vancouver Canucks aren't probably not going to bring him back. So a lot of good coaches out there that the Devils can choose from. So we'll see. We'll see if this is just a tactic to keep him around, to talk to other coaches, to see if maybe they'd be interested interested in coaching the Devils, then go back to Lindy Ruff and kind of hesitate that way? Or are they set on Lindy Ruff? We'll have to wait and see. But apparently, as of now, Lindy Ruff is still our head coach. So looking at the impact he's had, I'll go first with Jack Hughes. He went from a 31-point year to a 56-point year. And I have a feeling that if he would have played a lot more, he would have crushed those numbers. He played really well this year. He really did. He showed a lot of Devils fans the promise that this kid has. And, we kept hearing it, but then we actually seen it game after game. And, he looked phenomenal out there. He really did. And, if he would have played more, he would have broken more through with his numbers. But, the injury shut him down. But looking forward to seeing what he has to do next year. Bratt was the one that really stood out to everybody. 30 points last year, 73 points this year. And he's going to be the key focal point of a lot of Tom Fitzgerald, Devils, and Devils fans as, he's an RFA. He needs a new deal this summer. So we'll see what happens with Bratt. Tom Fitzgerald talked a lot about him today and says they want to keep him around long term. He's a key piece of us going forward. So that's encouraging. Nico hischier, of course, last year he dealt with injuries. He only had 11 points. His best year prior was 52 points. This year, he had 60 points. And with Nico hischier, we saw an elevation in his game and his leadership as well. As the year progressed and as you've seen Jack Hughes go down and a lot of other Devils go down with injuries and, protocol and everything, he really rose this year. He really took the Devils on his back and helped this team out a lot this year. You saw the two-way game he plays. You saw the way he could change a game with the simplest of things. You've seen him actually even throw his fists in a fight. So, Nico hischier really showed Devils fans this year that he's progressing in the step forward and is emerging as a leader for this team. Sharangovich. Sharangovich went from 30 points to 46 points. He went from 16 goals to 24 goals. And I said in one of my earlier videos a while ago, I do see Sharangovich as a 30-goal scorer eventually when he starts to hit that prime. And, he's getting close. 24 is not that far away from 30. And I feel like if he would have started the year off better, he definitely would have been a 30-goal scorer. So I'm really excited to see what Sharangovich has in store for us next year. Damon Severson went from 21 points to 46 points, and that's his best season, best points-wise for his season. Dawson Mercer came in as a rookie and put up 42 points and really emerged as a fan favorite. They love this kid. I love this kid as well. You saw the way he could play. You saw what he has to offer. And it was very encouraging to see what he can do. He's a good two-way guy. He can score. He's got good hands. He's got good speed. He back checks. He's just a coach's dream, honestly. And I feel like Dawson Mercer in time will be a really good Devil for us. Ryan Graves. And I want to pinpoint Ryan Graves too because, normally you're not going to look at him for offense, but his best year with Colorado Avalanche, he put up 26 points. And with us, he put up 28 points. Now, I know that's not a lot. It's still an improvement from the 26. But when you're going from a Colorado Avalanche team that's loaded with offensive talent and put up that amount and then be better on the Devils, it shows a lot. And I really like what Ryan Graves has done since he came over, providing that physical edge. He hits, but I like the way he moves the puck and his shot from the point too. So I like what Ryan Graves has to offer. I really think that was a great trade from Tom Fitzgerald. Jesper Boquist. Now, Jesper Boquist is one player that I don't mean to, but I always tend to forget to mention him in videos. But I'm definitely mentioning him now because he really stood out to me this year. Last year, he went from 7 points to this year, 23 points. But this year, you noticed him a lot more. You noticed his speed. You noticed the way he back-checked. You noticed the way he can handle the puck, the way he could shoot. He's got a good deceptive shot. And I really feel like next year, he's going to put up a lot more points than 23. You saw the way he could skate with and without the puck. And we saw the promise that they've been talking about with Jesper Boquist for a long time. So I really like the way this kid plays, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do next year as well. Mikey Mccloud. He went from 15 points to 20 points, and Mikey Mccloud was very invisible for the first part of the year. Once we got Nathan Bastian back, that's when you saw his game really rise and elevate. And, he put up a couple more points on the board, for a fourth liner, but you saw him play a bit better. You saw him play a bit more confident. And but you still saw him produce well with him at the faceoff. So that's what he's good at: faceoffs, defensive play, and curious to see what he has to do going forward. But I like him and Bastian on that fourth line. I really do. Ty Smith definitely had a down year. He had 20 points from his previous 23 the year before, but he's got to work on his defensive play. He was a minus 26 this year, and a lot of times he was caught off guard, and you saw a difference in his play this year. And Tom Fitzgerald actually talked about it. Someone asked him that question with Ty Smith. Do you see Ty Smith falling off? And Fitzgerald said that with the elements he brought on defense, it kind of changed the way Ty Smith plays, and he feels that next year he'll adjust and try to be better with everything. So he didn't see him as having a down year, but he knows he did have a down year, but he doesn't see him as slumping going forward, and this being a year of him adjusting to his game too. Nathan Bastian, he went from 10 points to 2 points, 10 points with the Devils, 2 points with the Kraken, and then 16 points this year. So, 11 of which were goals. So I love the way this kid plays. I love him and Mccloud together. I like the way Nathan Bastian plays, especially when Lindy Ruff put him on the power play. I know a lot of Devils fans at first were scratching their head, but when they saw him actually starting to produce, they're like, okay, maybe we have something here. He stands in front of the net. He takes the abuse. He chips in those goals here and there, and he can play that physical edge that a lot of the team needs to be better with. So I like what Bastian has to offer, and the team loves this kid, so I'm glad he's back. Jonas Siegenthaler, 9 points was his best year with the Washington Capitals, and he had 14 this year. Now, I don't count on Siegenthaler to be an offensive dynamo, but he is definitely a great defensive defenseman for our team. He put up impressive defensive numbers for us, and, it was sad to see him go down later in the year, but, I like what we see from him. I like our core starting to shape up of defense. He's going to need a new deal going forward. I believe next year, him and Graves, but I'm pretty sure they're going to bring them two back. You found the pieces that you want in Graves, Hamilton, Siegenthaler, and you're rounding out that defense. And you got those young pieces coming up with Hughes, with Mukhamedulin, you have Walsh, you have Ohotuk. So you have a lot of good pieces coming up in the system. So our D is very, very promising going forward. And looking at the rookies that played well under Lindy Ruff. Fabian Zetterlin was the one that really stuck out to a lot of us. He had 3 goals and 5 assists, 8 points in 14 games played. Has had a great year this year with Utica, putting up some very impressive numbers. And you've seen him elevate his game, getting his second shot around. And, his skating is picked up, his speed is picked up, which were the two things that was the knock on him. But they always talked about his NHL caliber shot, and he has it. He could score off the one time. He could snipe just coming down and shooting on a goaltender. He's got an NHL-ready shot, and this kid's going to be something. So I'm glad to see him, too, picking up his game this year and playing well. And then you saw Kevin Ball, Nolan Foote, Riley Walsh, Nico Dawes, Schmid, and Ohoto come up and play well, too. They all chipped in offensively here and there, especially in their first games. A lot of them either put up goals or assists. And, we're very impressive to see. It's something that when you see these players playing well in Utica and then they make that transition pretty well to the way they play up here, it's very impressive. And, it has a lot of Devils fans very encouraged to see what these young players have to do for the team going forward. So comment below, what do you think about this? I was very excited to hear Devils starting to make some moves, so we'll start to see what happens going forward. So comment below and let me know what you think about this. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your time. Smash that like button. If you haven't done so, subscribe to Hockey Skatedown. Join our hockey team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Stay safe.